Hey guys, Deathbyphiw here. Welcome back to my channel. I have to talk about this, and some of you may disagree with me, but I think some of you will change your minds after watching this video. But is Roadhog secretly OP? Hear me out, right? Obviously, there's a lot of counters to Roadhog. He has, some survivability issues, but when you think about it, Ana really isn't meta anymore. Kiri, Lucio are the go-tos, as well as Moira on supports. Ana was, and basically is, Hog's arch nemesis. Getting antied by an Ana really does stink as a Roadhog, especially if you do not have a Kiriko on your team to cleanse it. It becomes quite a pain to try and deal with it as Roadhog. But Ana's like B tier right now. She's not played a lot in comps, and Kiri's ultimately played a whole ton more than Ana, as well as Lucio. And when you think about that, teaming up with Roadhog, Kitsune Rush with Roadhog's ultimate is broken. I mean, you could just decimate an entire team as well as reposition an entire team with your ultimate. To top it off, Cleanse is a lifesaver. So if they do have an Ana, Kiri's meta. Your team should be running a Kiri on support if you're running Roadhog. And if you have that, you're in really good shape. Like, I have very little to worry about. And that all just enables Roadhog. Couple that with Lucio speed boost and being able to enable your movement speed, which Hog kind of like needs to get into good positioning. Put your trap down, hook someone, delete a target. I mean, it's crazy strong. And in my previous video, I talked about how I think Orisa is the hard meta on tank. Well, Dive is still really good. So there's a lot of Doomfist, and there's still a lot of Diva being run, and Hog pairs up really well against all of them. Being able to hook them out of whatever abilities they're using to get into your backline, being able to reposition that enemy tank is very, very strong. And there's not much to deal with Hog besides Orisa, in my personal opinion. Like, you can duel pretty much every other tank and match up fairly decently as Hog. Now, I'm not saying Hog is broken. I just think he's secretly OP, and he has barely any issues if Ana's not played on an enemy team. And he can survive. He can heal himself for a ton. He could do a ton of damage. His ultimate repositions and does a ton of damage. And just the support meta is really benefiting him. Do I think Hog needs any tweaks? I personally don't think he needs any tweaks because, he doesn't have his one-shot capability without the placement of his trap. His trap is very important to be able to stop characters, stun them, slow them down, and get hooks and do damage and try to one-shot folks. So, it requires a combination of abilities. So you need your hook, you need your trap well placed and not destroyed, and you need aim, right? On both your hook and it's not too hard to hit your primary fire, but when a target's hooked in, but you need all that in combination. So I don't think it's broken, but I do think Hog is secretly OP. You can really do a ton of damage and also heal a ton. Like, I played some games where I have as much healing on Hog from self-healing as my supports. I mean, we're talking about 7, 8K, maybe even 10K heals, while I'm also doing like 15,000 damage or whatnot. And then there's the kill capabilities. Like, you can get a ton of kills with Hog. You can help out the team. You can create a ton of space. And you have 800 HP. Like, you have 800 health. That is a ton. I know he has no armor, but the fact that he has so much health after the health pool increase, it just makes him like extremely tanky. Pair that up with like supports like Kiri, Lucio, it just does so well. Also, the other thing, Moira's kind of like the third best support and kind of is like meta, not as good as Kiri and Lucio, but you could hook the Moira out of her ultimate and stop it. That's important. You can ult and push the Moira out of the team fight with your ultimate. You can reposition folks at a with your ultimate at a team fights. Like a Zen trancing, shoot that guy all the way across. I think you could even hook Zen out of his trance and get him away from, the enemy team and stop him from healing. Like all this reposition capability is very, very powerful. It's a very strategic tool that if you know when and how to use your hook ability, you can do some serious work and really benefit your team in team fights. You may struggle a little bit in certain situations, and you may have to swap if you are getting hard countered and it's not working. I think if the enemy team is running something like an Ana and like a Zen being such a big target, and if you do not have like a Kiriko to help support you, it becomes extremely difficult to deal with the enemy team and being able to effectively do any work. So it does require some help. It's not like Orisa where I feel like you run any support combo, you could just go balls to the wall into the enemy team, do a ton of damage, and have a boatload of survivability. Hog has his drawbacks, he has his cons, but I do honestly think he is secretly OP. I think in lower ranks, for sure, you can really flat out hard carry, especially on some maps like Oasis. You can hook people off a high ground on one of the maps. Like that's important. You could even play high ground with his range. Other maps that have wells in them, like Ilios, and areas where you could pull people off the map is very strong. Like you don't necessarily need to run a dive character in order to get into certain positions. And I played this character, I think in the video I'm showing now, I'm playing on a watch point, Gibraltar. On the first point on defense, I really didn't have a good time. I didn't have the right support setup, the support makeup on my team. I asked them to swap, and we got some swaps going on. I think they're running like Kiri and Zen to help me out, and that really benefits, or maybe even Moira, that also really benefits. Like running a Moira is kind of good too, but you just have to play a little bit safer. Like you do not have Kiri to back you up. If the enemy team has an Ana, play a little safer. Use your cooldowns effectively. Keep going after targets. Try to hook targets. If you lose your hook, pull back and wait for your cooldowns. Like his hook cooldown is not that high. And it's like his most important tool in his kit. It's his best ability by far. Being able to reposition enemies and maybe potentially even kill squishies is just so strong. His trap also used in tandem with this hook is very good, but I mean, it's not a necessary tool, but it's a pretty good tool. The other thing that you want to keep in mind, if you are getting antied, just because you're antied doesn't mean you can't use your take a breather ability. It does reduce your damage taken by 50%. So as long as you're using it, you may not be getting heals, you are getting damage reduction, so it does keep you alive a little bit better. Like you're taking 50% less damage as you're breathing in. So one little hint or tip I would say is an Ana nade doesn't negate those abilities. It just negates your ability to heal. Doesn't take away your damage reduction. So it's very important to keep that in mind. So if you are anti, just hold your breather and run away as quickly as possible, especially if you don't have a Kiriko to cleanse you. I mean, you may very well just die anyway, but you take less damage and your chances of surviving are significantly better than not. So that's one tip I can give you. Obviously, these games that I'm playing in are not too high. I think I'm like Diamond 4 on tank right now. At the making of this video, I was close to Diamond 4. I haven't played tank in like almost a year, and I decided, let me just play tank because I was getting a little bit tired of playing support. But my peak on tank, which I never really played tank, was Masters 4. Before the rank update to add champion as additional rank. So keep that in mind. I'm not the best tank player. I don't have the best tank tips, but I'm just showing you from these ranks, like in Diamond, it seems pretty hard to deal with. Kind of like Orisa, really hard to deal with. And I've played in Masters on tank. running most tanks. I just don't play Doomfist and Ball and Ramatra. I play every single tank, and I have a pretty good win rate at the moment. And I'm approaching Diamond 4, and I have somewhat of like a 70% win rate on tanks. So I'm thinking I might hit Masters pretty soon, but take it as you see fit. I'm not a pro. I'm just giving you my recommendation. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree? Is Hog secretly OP? Yes? No? Maybe so? Let me know. The other thing is, we're trying to hit YouTube partners, so if you'd like, drop a like on the video, hit a comment, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does help out the channel tremendously, and I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. And as always, happy gaming.